degree.
It says it's going there, but then it takes a while to go up
But
there.
I think it's starting right now because now it's pushing the data.
All right, so we're good.
Okay, I think we're good.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What up?
Welcome to K-Talk Live.
Welcome to K-Talk Live.
So we're doing these live so that you guys can incorporate, just your own comments into this K-Talk.
Pretty much.
You can start commenting anytime during this entire K-Talk or any future K-Talks. It's up to you guys.
Pretty much.
And anytime we're talking about something you want to put your opinions on or tell us how wrong we are or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll be reading the comments real time as they're happening.
Yeah.
And go off of them.
That's the whole point. Is it's supposed to be sort of like this family talk we're having.
It's a family talk.
So yeah, call us out if we're wrong. But we just want to talk about these things that we don't normally get to talk about because
I mean,
we're so
how
busy
long have we
reacting.
been in K-pop?
I think 2 years with JAJ and everything.
That's not a long time. 2
No,
years?
no.
Some of you guys have known about Shiny when they debuted.
Yeah, Girls' Generation when they were just a thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
saw G when it came out. That's
we're
crazy.
third generation, fourth generation K-pop.
We're
You
like the
guys remember-
millennials of
We're the
K-pop.
millennials, basically. You guys know so
Oh
much
my
more
God.
than we do.
Yep.
So we're understanding that.
Pretty much.
And we want to proceed forward and get everyone
We're just
involved.
getting involved. So the dark side of K-pop.
The dark side of K-pop, that was a topic that you guys asked us to do in our K-Talk channel itself. We just went on our K-Talk channel, we looked at all the comments, and we said, could you guys give us topic ideas? And one of them was the dark side of K-pop. So we thought we could take the opportunity to open up the floor and to ask you guys what you think about that, and then we're just going to start monologuing.
We're
I guess dialoguing.
We're dialoguing.
We're dialoguing.
We're going to try to watch what the stream says so we can incorporate you guys and not just be Josh and Akbar doing what Josh and Akbar do.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's so many different aspects of the dark side of K-pop. Where would you start? You could say slave contracts.
Why don't we start there? Why don't we start with
slave contracts?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so who's most known for that? SM?
SM. Well, I don't think necessarily it's SM with the slave contracts. It just seems like when an idol or someone goes into
Wants to leave, or...
Yeah, that's where it's troubling, is it almost seems like they are so locked in to their contract that even if they wanted to be creative, it's so difficult to do it. I really see that, with SM, the only way they would let people be creative is if their competition let them...
That's a good point. Because I'm thinking, a whole contract where you're signing away what good chunk of your life, 5-10-year contracts. How long was the contract for 21? Because I know whenever
it was a while.
I think when Minzy left, they all signed their contracts again.
Yeah,
it was a long contract.
It's long. They
really
want to make
long
sure
contract.
they make sure the brand just stays and they get to keep their artists.
Yeah,
so they basically to push out the content that they need them to push out or tour really, all the time.
Yeah. I'm thinking, one thing I immediately think of is, okay, if you're starting at a young age, like a lot of people are, I mean, even G-Dragon, how old did he?
Oh my God.
He started so young.
He was probably when he was a G-Baby Dragon.
He was a G-Baby Dragon?
A G-Lizard.
And, if he signs a contract, does he even, know at that age? Or his parents are the ones signing the contract?
I don't know how that works.
Are they reading it and basically saying, whatever, I just want to, just let my son do this?
Okay, so we have 10-year contract by Gina Rodriguez, 10-year contracts. Is that
Gina says 10. That's a pretty average
SM?
contract.
13 years for Super Junior and DBSL?
What? 13 years?
That's not a small number. 13 years ago.
That seems too long to me.
I would
10,
never 13 years ago.
I just signed a contract for 2 years with CJENM, with CJ Entertainment.
Yeah.
They wanted 3 years from me, and I said, no, I'm not doing that.
That's
I
a
want
lot
to.
of time.
I negotiated, and they said, fine, 2. I can't imagine doing 13 years.
Because even think about it. Think about how much time that you put in K-pop from when things change. When you first signed, K-pop is probably going to be way different than the end of your contract.
K-pop changes in a year.
A year, yeah. You look at 2009 K-pop compared to now, it sounds so much more EDM-y now than
it's just
ever
too
did.
long.
It's way too long.
All right, we got Christina says 6 to 7 years is the norm. YG 7 to 8 at the most.
Yeah,
that's a long time. So one thing I'm wondering is with EXO, because I feel like they're sort of the poster child a little bit.
They're a bit of the SM's poster child as of right now.
Things that go terribly wrong when it comes to contracts and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they had Chris leave, Luhan leave.
Yeah.
So in terms and Tao. So Chris, Luhan, Tao. Who else? Or were they the 3?
I think
there's
any
more.
No,
I remember. You guys have to help us out here.
Yeah, please do.
We know some, but we don't know all.
But that's a big deal.
That was a really big deal.
3 of your members are saying that it's so bad that they have to go. And it's there's a time where even though your group members are all great, you have a certain amount that you can put up with, right?
I have to agree with the company, though, at the end of the day, because I think that they're a business. They have a business model, which is a group. And if any of the members leave, that screws their entire investment up.
Oh, I know.
So they're trying to protect their business model and then protect their investment. And it's their choice. They're not forcing anyone to do that. And they're spending millions of dollars to help them become stars.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
So
I'd like to just look at it from the other side, though, and say a business has to follow trends of the market. So this is one of those that if they're following this trend where their artists do want to leave and not retain their value, is that the right way to go? Because you look at artists like YG who have great groups who apparently sign 6 to 7 year contracts. Do they probably renew? If they get the love that they deserve, yeah, they're going to renew.
yeah,
That's the thing.
probably true.
Is you have to find this balance between treating your artists like your commodity versus the people who are behind that artwork. Right?
That's interesting.
But you have to find this fair balance. And it's difficult.
It
Don't
is
get
a
me
balance,
wrong.
though.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
give and
is.
take.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which one?
Right here where it says that SM won the lawsuit and the contracts ended up continuing.
And that's the thing. They may have ended up continuing, but
Luhan and Chris's contracts continued?
SM wins the case.
Wait, is that a thing? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
So,
But even if that stands, do you think they put in their all even if they wanted to after that?
if they were smart and they were thinking about themselves, they should.
Yeah.
I might be in a bad attitude if I was in their position.
Right.
And be like, screw that.
Like, what would happen though?
Like, I'd want to get kicked out. I'd be like, they want to keep me, they want to force me, fine. But I'm going to, like, show up late, do all this stuff. And,
yeah,
I don't know, like...
but with their culture, they, like, I
That's
feel
a
like
good
with
point.
the SM and, like, K-pop idols culture, they wouldn't want to screw over their other members. So
That's
it's
true.
a tough, it's definitely
The
tough.
K-pop contracts are very inspired by the
J-pop
J-pop contracts.
I don't doubt that at all.
Jackie Entertainment?
Yeah,
Jackie-
Jackie Entertainment. I
didn't know anything about... I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about J-pop. Like, I've seen some J-rock. I've seen some J-pop.
J-pop contracts,
Whoa!
20 to 30 years. So it's your life. It's your profession. That's it. You're with that. And that sucks.
20 to 30 years.
20 to 30 years. Because
Okay, that does
think
not
about
even
that.
seem
No,
right to me.
That means if we signed up right now with any big company,
By the time you're out of your prime, while you're out of your prime, your contract is still continuing.
and they may not even do anything with you, but you
Oh,
can't sign up for
man.
anybody else. You know what I mean? You can't do anything indie. It has to be through your market. So like that goes into another point. Is these artists work so hard, and I feel like
Harder
they get-
than they should in a lot of cases.
from a young age.
Yeah.
From a young age.
And that's got to mess with them because if you're like working harder than most middle-aged men in their careers, people in general, working so hard at such a young age.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking boy bands, that's why I said middle-aged men, but for women, identical thing, boy
Yeah.
bands, girl bands.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking if they're just caring about the money, they're going to try to work them as hard as they can.
Yeah.
And I'll see behind the scenes with some groups and see that they're waking up like at 4 a.m. and sometimes they stay up till midnight dancing.
Yeah, and
And
then
just like what?
and they
that
have-
doesn't seem even sustainable.
It's
Could you
not.
imagine doing that?
why
I
do you
can't.
think why do you think you have artists who probably pass out on stage and
Exactly.
just get fatigued?
Exactly. Like we're just seeing the face value. I'm laughing because it seems ridiculous to me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it
hard
doesn't
to
seem
wrap your mind
sustainable.
around. Yeah.
I don't know. But then we see people that fight their contracts and we're like,
Yeah.
some people will hate on that and be like, SM did everything for them and now they're being snobby and they're
Oh,
thinking,
yeah.
now that I have this status, I can leave and do my thing. They're probably thinking, no, I know some other K-pop members personally from
Yeah.
these other groups. They're treated great.
Yeah, it's like they feed them, they make them go to bed.
He
they
can
force
actually
them.
cut his hair the way they want. He
Yeah.
can date someone if he wants to. We're not allowed.
Yeah, that's another big thing, but I feel like that's beyond even that.
Is
It's
it?
like
Is that?
scandals.
We gotta ask them. Is
Yeah.
that in the contract? Because we don't know. Is dating in like before we started this K Talk? We were talking about this.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, and we were asking, is that part of their contract in terms of like when they have to go to bed, when they wake up, what they eat, what their hair is like? Can they date someone? I know
Yeah.
sometimes there's companies that are very strict about that. Is it just for the first few years?
Well, I think it's a method, like a sort of thought process that's a lot in the Eastern world, where when you're an idol, you're not dating anybody because you're dating, I guess, your whole image of your fans. Like your love is supposed to be for your
Is
fans.
that a thing?
I feel like
I
that's
didn't know that was a thing.
Well, where do you think Sasang come from?
Well, Sasang, I think, do to the extreme what a lot of us do at a sort of a normal level.
Yeah, so right there, to liking says yes, there are dating clauses. So right there, they can't date. And
Is that common for all contracts, or is it only SM?
Right.
Is my question.
But here's the thing: define dating. what is dating?
Exclusively seeing at a romantic level another individual.
But how can you like define? Oh, we're just hanging out between two individuals.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If you're holding hands in public,
Well,
and
yeah,
the public will see you.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying if you went out to dinner with one of them, and it's just like, no, we're friends, and you could just leave it. No, we're friends.
It's so tough.
It's so tough.
It's so tough.
And that's what I'm saying is people who would never be dating if they do just go out. It's a scandal. It's like
exactly.
A scandal.
Like
they have to secretly
Tina
date.
said. That's why it's mainly in secret.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. Like you're not. If you meet someone you absolutely are crazy about, you can't even date them in public.
No. And it's a mutual thing probably from both sides. If you're
but
both
it's
idols.
in the contract, and I'm sure they know about it beforehand.
Oh yeah.
But they know about it before their balls even drop.
For real. They know
before
about
they're
it
even
when they're
interested
children.
in the opposite sex.
Yeah, they're just
already doing that.
And they probably get fed in like when they're in the training, like you guys are the best. You're with SM. Like this is the way it's gonna be, and you are just gonna sign the contract and become like really rich, really popular, and they don't even think about it.
It's
They're
glamorous, and it's all high in the sky type of a thing.
They probably tell them like right to their faces as children, and the children are like, "That's awesome," because that's all kids know.
They're saying here it's not all contracts. JYP is just a 3-year contract, is what
That's
I'm seeing.
amazing.
And it looks like it depends on the company who's going to do that. So it would make sense, though, right? That they're going to have the most strict. Okay, so let me ask this: how did YG become the biggest? Or is it because they had the longest contract?
You mean SM?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
How does SM become the biggest?
Or is it because they're big and they're so competitive that they're like, we have to do this to keep that?
Yeah, it's almost franchised K-pop.
Oh yeah.
So it's lost that individualism.
There
that
is
a lot of
no.
these
It's a cog in the machine that is SM.
Yeah.
And one other thing is like talking about dating and like people peering into the lives of idols is they don't have any privacy.
No privacy. Your privacy's gone immediately. We have privacy. If we shut off this webcam, no one here around here knows about us.
No, we could not even be wearing pants, just in our boxers, looking ridiculous.
Boxers.
We could have like 30 different people behind, and
At
you
least
wouldn't know.
30.
You wouldn't know.
No.
Nobody would know.
We'd have to go somewhere like Koreatown, or we'd go to KCON.
a meetup where people, and if we said
Those
something,
places.
yeah, and if
That's
we
where
said
people
something,
know us. But for them, they can't walk around.
No.
They can't go to the Taco
they
Bell.
have to wear the like
the face mask, which
yeah.
look awesome, by the way.
Oh, they do.
I wanted to get one, but I was thinking, like, can I do that? It'd
I
be
don't know.
okay.
I don't know.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
I want one though.
One other thing is when people watch these idols, one thing that gets me mad, and this is more for the girl idols, is their weight is so scrutinized. Like there could
For females.
yeah, for
especially.
females, and I think it's crazy because a girl could look normal weight, but because she's not like skinny, super skinny, where it's like sort of like not unhealthy looking, but if you see a girl who looks like a normal healthy weight and then she goes to skinny and like the next time you see her,
that happen in K-pop.
that's so unhealthy. That's because there's pressures. There's probably people indirectly or directly telling them like,
oh man,
you'd be able to do that move faster if you didn't have as much mass on you or something like
Plus,
that.
you're making comparisons to yourself with a bunch of other people. as
Dude,
well.
like subconscious, like she looks pretty.
You've seen the hate we get. Can you imagine the hate that they get?
No, I can't because that's tough.
And even if, say we're in a boy band or something, even if our contract says, yeah, you can date whoever you want, what if we had Sasang? What if we know we have such crazy fans? If you and I started dating publicly,
our significant other would be getting
those
death threats.
Sasang would get death threats on all. We wouldn't want that for our girlfriends.
No.
We wouldn't want that.
We would not. And that's funny because that even happens in like America. If like some artist starts dating, like Justin Bieber could start dating a girl, and all of his fangirls would go nuts.
Oh, they would.
Yeah, so
They
same
would for
thing.
sure.
Same thing.
Oh man.
It's crazy because there's these unwritten and written expectations that these idols have to meet, but at the same time they have to put up this front that they are these like paradigms of glamour and just this music industry in Korea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, how do you not fall apart?
I mean, Irene is right in this
Irene,
scary sense.
Sasangs will literally kill for their idols. That's terrifying. That's like in a cult, even though the idol doesn't want that.
See, I didn't know about this.
What?
Sugar honey.
Sugar honey.
Crazy diets.
Only eating. So she says that Suga said that during pre-debut they were living only eating vitamins. Now, is that required or is it? That's dark.
Crazy.
So they're only getting their vitamin supplements that they need to continue to dance and move around.
It gives them the energy. They gotta have something to burn. I guess you know what I mean. Like, or else they just get faint.
Or they lose the fat that people think is ugly.
Man,
That's sad.
It's crazy, but you see the toll it takes on them
Augustine's
when
mixtape speaks for it
when
all.
they start having their own creative freedom. They start talking about it. I saw someone mention here that there was an ex-SM trainee or some people who have left SM who have had interviews
because they just can't.
they just start talking about all the behind-the-scenes stuff.
And you know what's sad to me is what, like, you have to realize. Let's go into the idol's head. What are they thinking in these moments where they get a plate full of pills and vitamins? Like, it's okay, I'll get there.
They think, this is what all my other brothers are doing.
We're all doing it.
It's what all my sisters are doing.
And that's why there's probably this solidarity in groups. But we've seen things can go really awry, even with that.
I think it can, and I think what happened with 4 Minute was something that I always think about. I don't always say it in my reactions, but we'll think about that when we react sometimes. We'll see one member that's obviously prominent.
Deliberately or undeliberately, but there's something.
Like, and CL takes the show. She leads them, so it makes sense, but I feel like she took the show in 21, and obviously that was such a well-developed group enough, and they had such a great dynamic, it worked. But there's going to be people in the background sometimes.
Eventually it gets to you.
And it's unfortunate.
Because what it could be is that, for some reason, people just love CL, SM, like the fans of the company that owns 21 just loved it, and then they just push her more to the front, where they're like, we're putting you to the front because
it's
we know
it's a business move.
Yeah,
if she's getting them more popularity, then they're going to push her to the front. Like, say with Blackpink,
right?
What if Lisa becomes like the new
let's not start anything there.
Well, what if she does?
But you're right, and
they're going to push her to the front.
Yeah.
And what if, like, Jisoo?
Yeah.
I've seen Jisoo have the least amount personally. I could be completely wrong, but I've seen her kind of go to the back. And I definitely saw her go to the back and stay and playing with fire.
Yeah.
So if she keeps getting pushed to the back because she doesn't have the fan count,
like the biases that are like
Jenny might have,
like Jenny, Rose,
Rose does too. And that might keep happening until this thing happens with Minzy. Eventually she'll leave.
And it's terrible because it's not like they want it. And, like, it could be after this huge music video, they all are in the back room, and, like, the head, like, CL's like, that was great, guys, and they're like, yeah, you got more attention time, and, like,
exactly.
Even though they know it's not her doing it, it's
not even her fault. Like, can you imagine if Blackpink went in front of, like, a KCON event, and then they're all introducing themselves, like, and then, like, Jisoo walks by and people cheer, and then, like, and then Lisa walks by, and then the whole place starts roaring.
It gets
That's not even Lisa that wants that necessarily.
No.
In that moment, she probably would be embarrassed. She might even want the same amount of applause for everyone,
or
more applause for her because she knows she's hurting.
And the thing is, though, is like, if you are going through dancing as much as them, showing up to all the dance practices, because you're not going to dance any less on stage. You're going to be there doing your own moves.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the love. Like, it's all of a sudden, like, if you're in 21 and you hear CL's getting her own thing, even though she's doing as much as you, it's just there.
Yeah.
Like, you made it past the whole trainee level. You shouldn't be treated like that.
That's tough.
It's so tough.
So it's like a psychological dark side.
And probably if they're starving, they're probably already, like, having psychological, like, issues of just, like, trying to find methods to go through with it.
I mean, can you imagine what do we do with, like, any idol? We put them on a pedestal, we see the best side of them, and we think that that's all they are, so then they try to match that image.
Read what Max Tosh just said. That's really not good. So I'll read it out loud. He says, in a V-Live, Jae-hyo was talking about how he survived off of beer and break for a week.
Beer and break
for a week in order to define his abs. And so basically what it's saying is he only survived off beer with a little energy just so he could dehydrate himself, which bodybuilders do to really show off their muscles.
So they can just burn the fat, define muscles, and just get cut. That cut look, the defined look, the toned look. I mean, there's going to be secrets in that industry, not like tips of sorts.
Tips.
Where everyone does that.
Where it's not...
everyone.
Yeah.
But it's not everyone.
It's not rules. They're tips that you should follow.
Have you ever seen... There's a documentary on the dark side of the porn industry, and the amount of the actresses who do drugs, cocaine
to lose weight. It's terrible.
It's tons of cocaine in that industry. Yeah. So
they probably disrespect those girls.
Exactly. So that's like just a dark industry in general. So there's no comparison there. No. What I'm saying is, whatever you look at, there's stuff in the background. There's stuff happening.
Yeah. And don't get us wrong. It's not like we're bashing these companies. These artists are great. But at the same time, it's just... We're just talking about it. We don't know any better solution or what is the better way. I don't know what would be better. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I feel like With the system it is, it inherently has those problems.
Every system will, when it gets big enough, you will have people who are unhappy.
I guess you would hope that a company maybe like JYP with only a 3-year contract, they treat their idols better, they give them more freedom, they give them more time.
First class, not business class.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe they say, you know, date whoever you want, you know.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, look at JYP himself. Like, I think he's the poster child for that behavior. Like,
JYP is
the
G.
man.
He's a G.
He's so good.
Oh man, we could talk about this literally forever.
But it's just, I like talking about it because we normally don't get a chance to talk about this stuff.
I'm glad we opened this up live.
Me too, it's really
I'm
good.
constantly reading all of these comments from you guys. You guys know all the stuff we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
JYP has 7-year contracts apparently. I thought it was just 3. But we hear enough things from different people, we can get sort of an average and a medium.
Right.
You know, we should do all our K-Talks like this.
We should, I think.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
I think we should. Let's make all of our K-Talks live. And let's involve you guys.
Yeah,
so you guys can start commenting with us.
That'd be pretty sweet. So that it's not just Josh and Akbar's K-Talk. It's all of our K-Talk. The family. The family
exactly.
K-Talk.
If you're watching this live, we're on my main channel, the Josh Binder channel. As soon as it's done, we're going to upload the video, the full video, this video, on K-Talk.
On K-Talk. So subscribe.
Subscribe to K-Talk.
Show your support so that maybe we won't even have to do the trailer video. Does it make sense now why we did it?
The trailer video is basically just saying, yo, by the way, we're over here on K-Talk. We're going to do the live streams for now on mine. Yeah. But eventually, when K-Talk gets big enough to support itself, you know, we grow a little sapling into like a strong
the K-Talk
oak.
Sap into oak. Good
the
wood.
oak of K-Talk.
The oak of
Eventually,
K-Talk.
when we get to the level of development with K-Talk, we're just going to move completely.
Yeah, we're not even going to do trailers
live
on this
streams
channel.
will be over there.
Yeah,
we're
this is a way so that you guys know that we're talking about K-Talk.
So if you're watching it live, you're on Josh Binder, but if you're watching it after the fact, you're watching it on K-Talk.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
I think this was a good amount of time to talk about this.
20 minutes?
20 minutes, I think.
That's
what do you guys think?
Yeah,
like we said, we could talk about this for like 18, as long as those contracts
What do you guys think of the length of K-Talk? We're doing these so new. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear feedback. Any suggestions you have on like, no, we wish you would have gone for an hour, or no, that could have gotten too long. We like 20 minutes, or maybe even shorter. Yeah. You know, it depends.
It depends on what we're talking about. Like Dark Side. Dark Side is...
You could go on forever.
The dark side of anything is huge to talk about.
Anyway, you know, we're just going to go on. We have a couple other topics
we do,
want to talk
so we're going
about.
to do more.
So we're going to do some more after this, so definitely stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for being a part of this K-Talk
live. Really, we
really appreciate that. Please go over to K-Talk and subscribe to that. We would really appreciate that.
And if you came here without knowing who either of us are, good on you, but you should subscribe to Josh Binder, AKB4R, but most importantly, please subscribe to K-Talk, like Josh just said.
Yes, that would make us both happy.
And until next time, should we do, like, how do we do these outros?
We have to decide this.
Okay, so guys, how should we do these outros? Should we, like, just do a normal thing, make it really awkward?
Links in my pants.
Yeah, links in my pants down below. Or just cut it off while mid-talking.
We could cut it off mid-talking. These are all